Hi and welcome back. Now I've spent the last couple of days giving some thought to what I'm doing with the hugger, which way I should do, what I should do, which is all fun, but doesn't really move me forward very much because too much thinking, not enough doing. Let's give you a quick run through of where I am today. I just put the fender hugger, whatever you like to call it, on the bike at what I judged to be about the right sort of clearance, and then taped it into place, and then I've been bending these support bars to a closer fit for the past couple of days at work. What I've been thinking is that I should cut these off here, maybe brace it here, and then use flat bar across here to support it, with this sitting over the flat bar, and the flat bar creating the minimum of clearance issues over the tyre. I'm not so convinced that I like these two bars being quite out in the open. It's quite industrial. The bike itself is relatively minimalist, hence no clocks and instruments on the handlebars, and currently relocated and preferably hidden a bit better in the future. The chopped mud guards, it's very much function over form, or not, or is it the other way around? I don't know. That's a bit too philosophical for me. So I'm at the moment now thinking that I don't quite like that industrial look on there, but actually now I see it in the flesh rather than thinking about it. It's a bit ugly. I quite like it. I might go with it after all. I do need to think a bit more about the cross bracing to stop this flapping about in the wind, because obviously this is going to be trying to pull away from the bike, and the wind will catch it and be trying to bend it out this way, or push it in this way, depending on which way the airflow is. So I think I do need something there. Okay, a bit more thinking. Whilst I'm thinking about that, what I should do, and I'm going to do, is to take this off, and plate across this section here. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but that's going to be on my next thing while I'm mulling over this, because I've got to hide these holes no matter what I do with it. So that's the next step. So I trimmed down the remaining piece of mudguard, cut off the edges and used it as a brace inside. Now I thought I'd have a go at trying to weld that into place. Now I have to say this one seemed to work okay. These two are terrible welds. We'll see what they're like when I've ground them down, but just have to wait till later when it's the neighbours are going to be less upset by the sound of me doing that. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more welding probably on those. I did the same on these. One side seems okay, but this side seems to be okay, but this side I've actually been able to just pop that off. I can't do it with one hand, so I'm going to have to grind these off and probably re-drill and redo. Oh well, no big deal. So anyway, so that's there. So that now feels quite a bit stronger, and hopefully if I can get that looking decent enough, then it'll work as without any additional bracing. Oh well, let's see. So I spent some time bending these support brackets for the hugger. So I put it on the bike, see something was a bit out of alignment, take it over to the vise, bend it, take it back. But the problem was every time you bend one place, it moves somewhere else, and because every time I put it back on the bike, it doesn't go back in exactly the same place, the alignment's slightly out, and therefore you're bending to a different position. So I realised the futility of that, So now what I've done is I've tacked this one in place. I'm just going to weld it more firmly now so that it's strong enough to accept some bending, which will also tell me whether or not this bracket that I'm welding to is going to be strong enough for what I want it to do. Once I've welded this one strongly enough, I'm going to mount it back on the bike, offer up the second one, weld that to the bracket, and then bend the two of them so they sit together and take it from there. So that's my task for now. So a little bit of welding, which is always experimental, but I'm gradually learning to use the welder, which is all good, and let's see how it goes. So the two struts are now welded to this bracket. Welds of well, varying quality, shall we say. A little bit better on the front sides than they are on the back, but it seems to be strong enough, which is my major concern. The bottom one here is my last weld, which is quite a bit improved from early ones, so I guess I'm learning from experience. But as I say, the test will be in how well it or how strong it is. I definitely am going to need to reinforce this bracket because I can bend it by moving the two arms, so that definitely needs to be sorted out, but that'll come in time. So for now, what I need to do is to actually get these two aligned, and if I've held this straight enough, then you'll see that that far one needs to bend a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do now, just bend that, try and match it up, and then see what it looks like on the bike. Time to cut the first supporting brace, which I've measured to be about here. So I'm going to cut this, shape it, file it flat, and see what we make of it. Try that again. Okay, let's see how this fits. Not very well, I think. Okay, whilst that fits, I think it looks odd because it's running at an angle between the two, so I'm going to have to cut along a bit and shape it because that's just not doing it for me. So brace is now welded in place. I'm showing the top side, which is my second attempt at the weld. Obviously I did the back side first, which is much uglier. Not that that isn't ugly, but hopefully it'll be functional and strong enough. So let's see what that looks like on the bike. Well, it's becoming a bit more solid, less floppy. It's a bit warm, have to be a bit careful there. That's now quite rigid. I've got quite a lot of movement in this bracket here, both in the slots for moving it backwards and forwards, and in the fact that I've got these much larger holes which I might retain. I think I might need some sort of plate across the back so that the bolts can sit across and give me that extra flexibility, which will allow me to tilt the angle, because the problem, if I move the wheel backwards and forwards, which with a belt doesn't really happen, but if I did, I put a new belt on or something and I need to move the wheel backwards or forwards a bit, it will of course change the position of the tyre, which not only means backwards and forwards but also means that it might need to be tilted a little bit, and this movement I've got down here allows me to do that. But anyway, so for the moment it's looking about right. I can see looking here that I've got a bit more bending to do here. This needs to move in from this bracket, so it's a bit tighter into there. And when I've done that, then I'm going to add another brace across here and lock those two together, and then I'll cut these ends off flush, and that will then give me something to mount through, to mount this to this. I've got it mocked more or less in its the position I want it in at the moment. I'm still unsure whether or not, when I've put something through here, whether or not this actually will be strong enough to support this, particularly since this is going to probably only allow me a single hole. So I don't know, I might put something a bit wider and put two holes in that way. I might be able to put a piece of this bar in here. I could even extend it a bit, maybe, then I'd have to bend it. Well, let's see. So my next stage, now I've got this down to here, I think I still need maybe a cross brace in here, something to stiffen this up. But actually this is quite solid, so it might not need it, but still I need to tidy this up anyway. So I need to do something with that, but for now my focus is getting this straight and getting these two connected. So there we are, another weekend playing in the shed. Remember, you know, this is stuff that everyone can do. Certainly I'm having a lot of fun with the welder. I spent years thinking about buying a welder, putting it off, finding reasons, procrastinating why I couldn't do it, why I shouldn't do it, millions of reasons, part of which is a complete lack of focus on doing and completing any one thing. But I'm having fun with the welder, and I'd absolutely recommend it to anybody. You mess it up, so what? Do it again. It's only a bit of time, a little bit of wire. So that's it for today. I'm now going to upload this and see what you think. Okay, thanks very much for watching.